In a coastal town where the scent of the sea was always in the air, lived a 26-year-old named Raphael. Raphael was lost. His life had no clear direction. He woke up every day without knowing exactly where he was going or what he truly wanted. He did what others expected of him. He worked in a job that didn't satisfy him because his parents thought it was safe. He was in a relationship that didn't make him happy because he had already invested so much time in it. He followed other people's opinions as if they were his own. Every day was the same. He woke up, went to work, came home, watched TV, and went to sleep. And the next day, everything repeated. His life was like a rudderless boat, being pushed by the waves in whatever direction the sea decided. He wasn't living, he was just existing. Raphael felt a deep emptiness deep within his chest. He knew life could be different, but he didn't know how to change. He felt powerless, as if he had no control over anything. Decisions were always made by circumstances, never by himself. One day, while walking along the beach after another monotonous day of work, Raphael overheard two fishermen talking. They were talking about an old sailor who lived on a small island a few hours away by boat. They said this man had sailed the seven seas for over 40 years. He had weathered terrible storms, had been lost in the middle of the ocean, but always found his way back. People said he knew the secret of how to navigate life with purpose and direction. Now retired, he lived alone on his island, but sometimes received visitors who sought his wisdom. Raphael felt something awaken within him, a small flame of hope. He thought, maybe this sailor can show me how to take control of my own life. Maybe he can teach me to stop being carried away and start truly living. The next morning, Raphael rented a small boat and set off for the island. The journey was more difficult than he had imagined. The waves were strong and the wind blew against him. Several times, Raphael considered giving up and turning back, but something inside him pushed him forward. After 4 hours of tiring sailing, he finally spotted the island. It was small, covered in green vegetation, with a single wooden house near the shore. When Raphael reached the beach, he saw the old sailor sitting in front of his house mending a fishing net. His face was lined with years, burned by the sun and the salt of the sea. But his eyes were clear and deep, as if they could see beyond appearances. Raphael approached respectfully and said, "Sir, I've heard about your wisdom. My life has no direction. I feel lost, as if I'm adrift. I don't know who I am or where I'm going. Everything around me decides for me. Can you help me?" The old sailor looked at Raphael for a long moment, silent. Then he smiled gently and said, "So you want to learn to navigate your own life? Come with me. I'll give you a small task." He led Raphael to a sailboat tied to the small pier. It was a simple but well-maintained boat. The sailor pointed to the horizon and said, "See that island over there? I want you to sail there and back. But there's one rule. You must arrive exactly where you plan to go. You can't let the wind or the waves decide your path. You must choose your direction and stay the course." Raphael looked at the boat, then at the rough sea, and felt fear. He had never sailed alone before. But he wanted a change, he wanted to learn. So he accepted the challenge. The sailor quickly taught him how to adjust the sails, how to use the rudder, and how to read the wind. Then Raphael set off. At first everything seemed easy. The wind blew gently and the sea was calm, but soon things changed. The wind began to blow from one side, pushing the boat off course. Raphael had to adjust the sails. Then, a strong ocean current tried to pull him in another direction. Raphael had to use all his strength on the helm to stay on course. At every turn, something tried to pull him off his chosen path. The wind, the waves, the current, everything seemed to conspire to take him where they wanted, not where he wanted to go. But Raphael didn't give up. He kept his eyes fixed on the distant island. He constantly adjusted the sails. He corrected the rudder every time the boat veered. His hands ached. His arms burned with exhaustion. But he kept going. It wasn't easy, but for the first time in a long time, Raphael felt in control. He was choosing his direction. He was deciding his path. After 2 hours of intense sailing, Raphael arrived exactly where he had planned. He touched the shore of the small island with precision. A sense of pride and accomplishment filled his chest. He had done it. So he returned, facing the same challenges, but now with greater confidence. When he finally returned to the old sailor's pier, the sun was beginning to set, painting the sky orange and pink. The sailor was waiting, with the same calm smile on his face. Raphael stepped out of the boat and said, "I did it." I arrived exactly where I planned. It wasn't easy. The wind and waves tried to pull me away the whole time, but I stayed the course. The old sailor nodded and asked, "And how did you feel?" Raphael thought for a moment and replied, "Tired, but alive. For the first time in years, I felt truly alive. I was in control." The sailor smiled wider and said, "That's the lesson the sea teaches every sailor. Life is just like the ocean. There will always be winds that try to push you where you don't want to go. There will be currents that try to pull you off course. There will be storms that try to make you give up. But a true sailor doesn't let himself be carried away. He chooses his direction, he adjusts his sails, he holds steady his rudder. You can't control the wind, but you can always control your sails. You can't control the waves, but you can always control your rudder. The difference between drifting and sailing with purpose isn't the conditions around you. It's your choices. It's deciding where you want to go and making the necessary adjustments to get there, no matter what tries to divert you. Slowly, Raphael began to understand. This was the direction he had been searching for. Direction isn't something you find. Direction is something you choose. For all these years, Raphael had let his life be controlled by circumstances, by the opinions of others, by fear, by inertia. He was like a boat without a sail, pushed by whatever wind blew. But now he saw clearly, he could choose. He had always had the power to choose. Raphael looked at the sailor and said in an emotional voice, "I understand now. I spent years waiting for life to show me the way, but life is waiting for me to choose my path. I hold the helm in my hands. I always have." The old sailor put his hand on Raphael's shoulder and said, "Exactly, young man. Stopping drifting and starting to live means taking responsibility for your direction. It means making conscious choices even when it's difficult. It means adjusting your sails every day to stay on the course you've chosen. And yes, there will be days when the wind is too strong and you'll be blown away. But a good navigator always corrects course. The important thing is not to never stray from the path. The important thing is to always return to it." The sun had finished setting, and the first stars began to appear in the sky. The sea was calm now, reflecting the silvery light of the rising moon. Raphael prepared to return home. But he was no longer the same lost man who had arrived that morning. He had changed. Something fundamental had shifted within him. He now knew he had the power to choose his own direction. He knew he no longer needed to be driven by circumstances. He could navigate his own life with purpose and intention. And that understanding made all the difference. If you enjoyed this story, please like it and share it with your friends who also need to find their direction. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more inspiring stories like this one. Thank you for sticking with us. We'll see you in the next story with new thoughts and new lessons. Until then, stay safe and navigate your life with purpose.